Whew. Wow. Hi everyone, it's good to kind of see you, to imagine you being upstairs, crammed into my office, and I decided to change the scenery again by coming in here for this week's video with all kinds of great news. At any rate, let's get this bottle open because it's going to factor into the video a little later, meaning I want to taste it. So let's just let that get open and get a little air. And tell you thank you so much to everybody who participated in last night's Zoom event. We are now nearly fully recovered from having enjoyed 6 different wines shown to us by the great importer Tom Kelly, and they were from Italy. This wine pack is delicious. This is to let you know that we still have that pack for sale, because besides it being Zoomed, and by the way, we've recorded it, so if you want to hear it later, you can. But just besides the fact that it was an event and 6 wines applied to an event, this will remain on our website, thewinesteward.com, as a product that you can buy just because 6 bottles of Italian wine, 5 reds, 1 whites, with your wine club discount under $124. It's a hell of a value. I can tell you that the staff enjoyed this like crazy. We had some of them up on the mezzanine, safely distanced from each other, and to celebrate Sharon's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Sharon. So we enjoyed the Zoom event here while many were in their respective homes doing it. And I can tell you that the staff is all over these wines. So I want to keep carrying them because now they know all about them. And I want their excitement to apply to the sales of more of these very good Italian wines. So there's that. The biggest news of the day is to let you know that, well, it is no news, is it? We can now reopen out front, just like all the good old restaurants down there who've been spanked hard by this last couple of months of having to be shut down. So, whereas they've had it harder than we have, we've gotten to remain open as a retailer. Those restaurants are now very, very worthy of your help, and make those reservations. You're going to need them. Go dine with somebody and then come see us, or come see us beforehand for a nice glass of wine or a bottle of wine. Working on a little menu, just a little one, but you can also buy, besides what's on the menu, come on in and buy a bottle of wine. And if you spend more than 24 bucks on that bottle, we will apply a no corkage fee. So it's a good value to use the biggest wine list in town, meaning the inventory of the wine steward, and enjoy it out front with your friends. Finally, right? So glad. So that's the biggest news, but other news that I'm not really actually supposed to relate entirely yet. My daughter says, "Dad, I'm not ready. I'm saying, come on, we gotta set the stage and get people a little excited. As many of you know, my daughter, Mary Denham, one of our 2 beautiful daughters, is in the business of baking, and she's found every way possible to do it through pandemic and through good times too. So she has worked in restaurants, being the pastry baker, and she's fantastic with bread as well. And lately she has created a business called Bloom's End, where she announces what she's going to be baking all week long and delivering to you if you would like to have it brought to you. Well, you kind of have to be organized to be able to access her goods that way. We just came into a new freezer. We thought, what are we going to do with this new freezer? We are going to load it like crazy with Mary's ready-to-bake items. And now you'll be able to come in pretty soon. I think we're going to start loading this ice box tomorrow. They used to call them ice boxes. That was a refrigerator though, wasn't it? All right, this freezer is going to be loaded very, very soon, starting tomorrow, with scones, biscuits, her cookies. You are going to look so good having pulled these things out of the oven, and you don't even have to tell them that Mary made them, but go home and make scones, biscuits that are professionally done. They're remarkable. I've looked good by my doing them at home. People were impressed. And then I let on, nah, it's my kid. She does this. So at any rate, you'll be able to get Bloom's End products out of a freezer, take them home, and, you know, the next Sunday morning or whatever, surprise somebody with scones. And I can't wait to partake myself. We all know that Valentine's Day is coming up, and we welcome you to come down to the store and admire 2 brand new window displays. We had a fun little friendly competition between 2 of our favorite reps, Meredith and Lisa, and they each got a window to design according to a certain champagne brand. So Meredith represents Taittinger to us, and so she did a beautiful Taittinger window that actually went up at Christmas time, and she's converted it now into a Valentine's theme. So see that and then compare it. We can take a vote, you know, whose do you like better, to Lisa's window, which is right across the alcove from there. And that one represents the champagnes of Laurent Perrier. And speaking of Laurent Perrier, we've just created, I can tell you, I didn't have anything to do with it. We are blessed with the ever-growing talents of Eric Martha Stewart Edgar, who has decided to, when he's got slow days here at the store, just get all crafty. So what he's done here is taken a Taittinger bottle, which actually comes in a beautiful gift box of its own, put in 2 Taittinger flutes, champagne glasses, made it pretty, made it very Valentine's-y, and this thing sells for, I think, only $5 or $6 or $7 more than the bottle itself, and you've got a ready-to-go gift to hand to your sweetheart. Hopefully she'll share. And I think we're at like $53.99 or something like that. I don't have my reading glasses on. I don't want to put them on. I think we're $53.99. Isn't that pretty? Come on. You got to give this to somebody. But make sure you're giving it to somebody who's nice enough to open it in your presence, right? Okay. Taittinger. That's the Brut Française from them. They're kind of like baseline Brut. It's delicious stuff. All right. What shall we do now? We shall tell you about some new wines because they keep coming in. And one of them is right in front of me. We just bought the last 2 cases of a wine I'd never even had before until 2 days ago. And I said, can we please have those last 2? I wanted it so bad. And this is, in fact, not everybody's cup of tea, so I have to explain it a little bit. This is a 2014, so it's got a little time on it, Syrah from, I think, the Russian River Valley, maybe Sonoma Coast. No, Eagle Point Ranch. That's Mendocino, so even farther north. Yep. And it is the very first wine that these folks called Desire Lines ever made. And it's called The Gift because somebody kind of wanted to give them like a kickstart, and so gave them a ton of grapes. It gave them a ton of this Syrah grapes to render into wine. So their only costs were the production, the overhead, and all that. They didn't have to pay for the fruit. And we will now have on the shelf for just a little bit of a while a beautiful old world style Syrah. Old world because it's got some time on it, and also because it's grown in a cooler place, kind of in the French Northern Rhone way. So if you like that style, actually, do you remember Baker Lane when we used to have a good time with that product on the shelf? It's a lot like the Baker Lane Syrahs we were carrying, and at a very similar price. So look for this, grab it while you can. That's a new Syrah going to the shelf. I can't let this thing sit out in front of me any longer. It's open, it's had enough time to breathe. Even if it hasn't, I'm gonna breathe it in. We'll see what happens here. We love the people at Tally. We love their whole shtick. This is a winery that is south of Pismo Beach, only by maybe 2 freeway exits of 101. And you are gonna be going inland just a little bit to encounter a beautiful area where there's farmland going on. People are growing cabbages and other things. And in fact, Tally is too. Tally's got farmland there. They were in the veggie business long before they got into wine. And so when you visit Tally, the tasting room, big, beautiful panoramic window. You're sitting there tasting great wine, and you're looking outside at the flatland right out the window, a broad swath of sometimes peppers, unless they've converted it over to legumes to restore the dirt, and then maybe it's pumpkins and so on. But then as soon as the land rises up in the distance, that's where their vines are. And these guys make fantastic Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. We've just brought in 3 cases of this estate Pinot Noir. It's kind of like their, I won't say entry level, it's their flagship, you could say it that way. Oh my God, this is always so pretty. It's halfway to Burgundy in its styling. It's not an over-the-top wine. It is fully ripe. It's got beautiful fruit, and yet the fruit is pert. It acts kind of like, I call sometimes this area the Carneros of the South. And it's behaving that way. It's got a nice cranberry and strawberry thing going on. Perhaps some tea leaves. Oh, I gotta make the yummy yum sound, sorry. It's really slurpy, slurpy, slurpy good. Again, it's not gratuitous, but it is generous, fully ripe, and yet it has beautiful nerve going on too. This can be wonderful with salmon. If you're in the mood for doing salmon soon, do it with this Tally Pinot Noir. I'm so glad I have Tally back. We always try to have a Tally product on the shelf, and in fact, right now we have 2. I brought in only a 6-pack of this. We can buy it a 6-pack at a time, so if you buy me out, I'm happy to buy another. But this is not inexpensive Chardonnay. We're not down at the Rombauer or Maldonado level. This will take you probably a little bit over $60, but it is their best. It is called Rosemary's. It comes from Brian Tally's mother's vineyard, which is right down the street from the actual winery. So Rosemary's Vineyard famously scores high ratings every year. I believe this just got a 95 or a 96 from the Wine Spectator or somebody like that. I bought it because I tasted it myself 3 days ago. Loved it. I'm not going to open this now in front of you. I can't afford to, but if you would open a bottle, I will kindly stand by and make sure your bottle is correct. So I'll have a glass as soon as I hear that pop, okay? At any rate, this is generous, just like I said about the Pinot, fully ripe, and yet there is this nerve going on, almost a salinity, almost a reference to the Pacific Ocean, which is only a few miles west of here, and no topographical barricade between, or there's no barrier between that ocean air coming into this valley, where besides the bell peppers and the corn and all the other things that Tally grows, there's wonderful Chardonnay growing in Rosemary's Vineyard. This is their flagship. This is their best Chardonnay. Rincon and Rosemary, you could say, are actually their best. They're line priced, two different single vineyard wines. Below that is their estate vineyard. They have another one called Oliver's, but this is the baby. Rosemary is the baby, okay? Come on in. If you're feeling spendy, if you want to taste world-class Chardonnay, kind of Burgundian style, but fully ripe, go here. I'm gonna have some more of this Pinot. Oh yeah, that works. I'd like to tell you about two more wines. We won't overdo it this time. I'd like to tell you about two wines that are actually done by the same producer. I know the labels don't look very similar to each other, but if you look more closely, you'll see that these are both from New Zealand. This is called Tiki, and it is a Sauvignon Blanc grown on the South Island in the region of Marlborough. This wine, made by the same people, is from a totally different region on the North Island of New Zealand. I think it's the Waipara Valley. Yep, Waipara. And it's called Maui. So it's good that the labels do look differently, so you don't make the mistake, because if you are looking for a classical New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, that means the kind that has a little more of that green thing going on, that nerve, and perhaps lower in fruit and higher in dynamic acidity. That's the Tiki. That is classic Marlborough, New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. It's going to the shelf in half an hour. This Maui, which also just arrived, made by the same people, I've got it in my glass right here. I think it's going to appeal to more people who are perhaps a little bit scared or of the overbearing Sauvignon Blanc style from New Zealand, because this has more tropicality, even as the name implies, Maui. Maui has its own meanings down in New Zealand, so maybe it makes you think of Hawaii, and that's cool if it does. Actually, this would taste great on any island. On the beach, wow, tropical fruit. It's vibrant, it's got a lot of mango and kiwi, that's appropriate. That's delicious. My mouth is awake. We're going to put this on the blind by the glass list for the outside thing. So the menu that's going to be in play, like within about an hour from now, come on down. Come on down and have an ice cold glass of Sauvignon Blanc. And that's my final word to you today, where it is going to be dry all weekend. We are blessed with that. The weekend that people can actually do outside dining and outside sipping, it's going to be dry. It's going to be chilly. So, I'm going to get ready my own little way, and I can't wait to be out there with you, so I'm gearing up. Where's my ice cold Sauvignon Blanc? Oh yeah. Well, if you're going to drink cold wine, you better be ready. So, got the gloves. There's a parka over there. Get my silly hat on. And I welcome you to come down and taste with us at the Wine Steward, regardless of how ridiculously you're dressed. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. See you soon.